And it's kind of just a quick scene to make you start thinking about what might happen in this book. If you read Blood Promise, Shadow Kiss, you might recall Rose getting a tarot reading. And in this scene, she is revisiting the same people and getting a new fortune. And so you can go home tonight and wonder what it all means. So obviously she is at the royal court again, and I'm losing my voice. Ambrose was a true oddity in our culture, a male vampire who had neither taken guardian vows nor run off to hide among humans. Female vampires often chose not to join the guardians in order to focus on raising families. That's why we were so rare. But men, they had no excuse as far as most people were concerned. Rather than sulk off in disgrace, however, Ambrose had chosen to stay and simply work for Leroy another way. He was essentially a servant, a high-class one who served drinks at elite parties and gave massages to royal women. They've been having a conversation, so they're jumping up in the middle of this. You too, he told me. But if you aren't communing with nature, what are you doing? It's a long story, I told him. I kind of got thrown out of a council meeting. He looked impressed. Literally thrown out? Well, dragged, I told him. I'm waiting for it to end, but it might be a while. Well, he said, if you're killing time, why don't you come see Aunt Rhonda? Rhonda? I scowled. No offense, but your aunt didn't really impress me with her abilities last time. None taken, he said cheerfully. But she's been wondering about you, and Vasilisa. So if you've got some time, I hesitated. He was right that I had nothing better to do right now. I was stuck on all my problems, not to mention that stupid council. Yet Rhonda, his fortune-telling Leroy aunt, wasn't someone I really wanted to see again. Despite my quick words, the truth was that in retrospect, some of Rhonda's predictions had been true. I just didn't like what they'd been. Fine, I said, trying to move forward. Just make it fast. He smiled again, like he could see through my ruse, and led me off to a building I'd been to once before. It housed the luxurious salon and spa frequented by Royal Leroy. Liz and I had had our nails done there, and as Ambrose and I wound our way through it to Rhonda's lair, I felt a strange pain within me. Manicures and pedicures. They seemed like the most trivial thing in the world. But on that day, they'd been wonderful. Rhonda told fortunes in a back room that was far from the busy spa. Despite the seedy feel of it, she did pretty brisk business, and even had her own receptionist. Or, well, she used to. This time, the desk was empty, and Ambrose led me straight through to Rhonda's room. It looked exactly the same as before, like being inside a heart. Everything was red. The wallpaper, the decorations, and the cushions covering the floor. Rhonda herself sat on the floor, eating a cup of yogurt, which seemed terribly ordinary for someone who allegedly wielded mystical powers. Curly black hair cascaded around her shoulders, making the large gold hoops in her ears gleam. Rose halfway, she said happily, setting the yogurt aside. What a nice surprise. Shouldn't you have seen me coming? I asked dryly. Her lips twitched with amusement. That's not my power. Sorry to interrupt your dinner, Ambrose said, gracefully folding his muscled body as he sat down. Rose isn't easy to catch a hold of. Figured I should bring her when I could. I imagine not, she said. I'm impressed you got her to come at all. What can I do for you, Rose? I shrugged and sat down, too. I don't know. I'm only here because Ambrose talked me into it. She didn't think your last reading was very good, said Ambrose. Hey, I shot him a chastising look. It's not exactly what I said. Last time, Lissa and Dimitri had been with me. Rhonda's tarot cards had shown Lissa crowned with power and life. No surprise. Rhonda said Dimitri would lose what he valued most. And me? Rhonda told me I'd kill the undead. I scoffed at that, knowing I had a lifetime of Travois killing ahead of me. Maybe another reading would help the other one make more sense, she offered. My mind was putting together another broad psychic joke, which was why it was so astonishing when my mouth said, that's the problem. The other one did make sense. I'm kind of afraid of what else the cards will show. The cards don't make the future, she said gently. Something's meant to be, it'll be, regardless of whether you see it here. And even then, well, the future's always changing. If we had no choices, there'd be no point in living. See now, I said flippantly, that's the kind of vague gypsy response I was hoping for. Roma, she corrected, not gypsy. Despite my snark, she still seemed to be in a good mood. Easygoing attitudes must have ran in their family. Do you want the cards or not, she asked. Did I? She was right about one thing. The future would unfold with or without me seeing it in the cards. And even if the cards showed it, I probably wouldn't understand it until afterwards. Okay, I said, just for fun. I mean, last time was probably a lucky guess. Rhonda rolled her eyes, said nothing as she began shuffling her tarot deck. She did it with such precision that the cards seemed to move themselves. When When she finally stopped, she handed the deck to me to cut. I did, and she put it back together. We did 3 cards before, she said. We got time to do a more elaborate one if you'd like. I shook my head. Just 3. The more there are, the more likely it is that anything can get explained.